It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for one of our Facebook Live Snack and Learns, and my guest right here is the cause of all this mess we've created here in Profit Concierge Campfire. Chris Baden, welcome. How are you?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Pam, thanks for having me. Excited to hang out with you. I always love doing interviews and chats and talks with you.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I begged you to do it when you were on the campfire the other day because what you are doing is amazing. And we're going to give you all the background story on it. But if you are interested in building community, if you are interested in how to make sales without making sales, as I like to call it, it's without being salesy. That's all about building relationships, all about building the runway, all about using all of the stuff Chris has learned over this career about prospecting. And his skills are really focused on solving problems and adding value to others. And so what Chris focuses on is something that is so important to me. We just had a team meeting about this today, is that I don't do anything that doesn't have a win-win. And I'm usually looking for a win-win-win, which is why Chris's stuff really jumped out at me. And his stuff, I'm using the term loosely because I want him to talk about it a little bit. He does it much better than I do. I don't articulate it well. But bottom line with Chris is he's usually thinking about building three things at any given moment. So he's focused on a lifelong marriage, a world-impacting family, which I absolutely love that, and multi-million-dollar businesses, of which he's had a few. And the last 10 years, he's been self-employed, employing others, and it's all about purpose-driven prospecting, which is the relationship part, as I call it, which is the only part that matters behind sales. So that's enough of me rambling, Chris. Welcome, and tell us a little bit about what's going on for you right now in Las Vegas, where you're coming from.
Well, in Vegas, it's heating up. The summer's coming. 100-degree, 110-degree, 120 degrees. It's all we're headed that direction. But hey, we love the warmth. That just means we're going to go to the lake and play around with the kids.
There you go. That's perfect. That is so perfect. So let me tell folks, this is how Chris and I met. He actually don't remember how I saw whatever I saw, but I had about a half an hour call with Chris, and we connected immediately because I could see how genuine and real he was. And I, at the time, was working on thinking about ways to build a community. And his process that he taught, I don't even remember the name of it, Sales Ascender is what it was called, was something I needed, not necessarily for sales. I had sort of realized that in the CFO world, you're not going to generally make a sales call. You're going to build a relationship over somewhere between 6 months to 3 years. And at some point, somebody's going to call and say, gosh, I've known you this long. I'm scaling. I'm in trouble. I'm whatever it is. I need a CFO. And boom, there we have the sale. It kind of makes itself. And I had recognized that right about the time you came into my orbit, and realized also that I was missing live stages a lot. Like I missed the encounter with people, the relationship building, not because I like being on stage, but because I love the hallway conversations. And so I thought, this could work for building a community. And sure enough, he taught me how we have reached out to each of you in this group to curate you for the Profit Concierge Campground, because we want to find really cool people and spend time with them. So Chris, how did you come up with this process that you've so successfully now taught? I'm guessing hundreds, maybe thousands of people.
Yeah, it's been quite a few. It all starts with a really, really simple process, and actually principle and value: human connection. That's it. I start with a belief. It's a general belief that ultimately what people want is more human connection. That it's those moments of humor and laughter. It's those heartfelt moments of just love. We crave. And now more than ever, like the world flipped upside down the last year and a half. We're more separated and segregated more than ever before, which the need and want for human connection, I'd argue, has always been there, will always be there, but it's now even being amplified even more.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
certainly what happened to me and why I reached out initially too.
And so and then there's the next step of all of that, of the human connection, is simply how. Well, Chris, okay, that's great, Chris. That's a good idea. I agree, or yes, I want that. But how? How do I get more of that? How do I do more of that? And I like to operate through this lens and filter of of treat other people the way that you want to be treated. And I feel like, okay, Chris, man, this guy, I know it's not anything new, but it's good that it's not new. It's the things that we've heard. It's coming back to those principles that are not my principles, but they're the ones that are time tested, battle tested, and they're the ones that I'm latching onto and using, and they have served me well. And the teams and industries and markets that I've been in, whether it's B2B, B2C, you can put me anywhere and I'll build a 7-figure plus business because of just those two principles. And I like to find what's worked and then just stay focused on doing more of that. And that's for those same reasons, Pam, when we got to start our conversation, and anyone listening, watching to this now, I don't really need to sell you. I don't really need to convince you. You already know those things to be true because they are. My opinion is
because
nothing.
It's human nature.
I have these crazy ideas, Pam, of nothing sells harder than the truth. I've been in commission only sales the last 10 years of my life. It's how my wife stays at home. We've got 3 kids under the age of 5. And I'm not if you look at all my, who knows how many like self-assessments I've done, and all, the strength finders and all the things, right? I don't fit the ideal or the rock star, killer sales profile. I just kind of hold to this time-tested principle of nothing sells harder than the truth.
Yep.
Treat other people the way you want to be treated. And that doesn't, you still got to ask for the sale. There's still basics that are around that, but how you build relationship and how you show up, it matters. We can control those things.
Yep.
And so building community and focusing on just those simple things, here's what it does. Yes, there's the seller side and there's the buyer side. And so in this context of a sales conversation, like we're all buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And we love to buy. We love our problems to be solved and get the new thing. And it's so fun. And but when we flip into being the seller, we start putting all these insecurities and fears and doubts, and we start thinking we have to try or convince, and we lose before we even start.
My God, you made a light bulb go off there. We love to buy. When something's going to solve our problem, we love to buy it. And I never, even having been working with you now for as long as I have, it never occurred to me that I love to buy. Wouldn't I hate it if people weren't selling what I need to solve my problems?
People twist and distort the word sales.
Yeah.
Sales is to serve. Sales is, in my opinion, to connect, and ultimately, which leads down a whole other conversation, to sell is to love. And every conversation, there's ideas that are being bought and sold, whether it's deciding as a family where you're going to go eat for dinner that night.
Yep.
And or what the ability, sales is nothing more than the ability to listen, practice empathy, and creatively solve problems.
I love that, because practice empathy and creatively solve problems, because we think of it when we hear the word sales, it really has been given the definition of, I've got this thing I'm going to give you whether you need it or not, and I'm going to cram it down your throat.
If you study, so I geek out on this stuff, right? I'm studying some copyright. This is a great book.
What's it called?
It's Great Leads.
Oh,
and it's
cool.
by Michael Masterson and John Ford. They're Agora copywriters, some of the best in the world, and they're actually going through some of the framework of Eugene Schwartz's 5 levels of awareness. If you do not know those names and those phrases, after you listen to this great interview and all the other content Pam's putting out, immediately go get a copy of this and consume this content, because it'll, no matter where you're at in your business, in your entrepreneurial journey, it'll show you how to talk to somebody and what to say at every stage. This is the big thing.
I'm going to call a time out there, because what we're going to do, number one, I'm going to put a banner up with that title on it, but we're going to make that book the prize in the group this month. So we have a prize every month for the most person who participates the most. And first prize gets a book, and that is the book. So let me pop that in the banner too. So tell me here what the title of it again.
Yes,
The
Great Leads.
Great Leads, and it's by
Michael Matterson. You can say Michael and John.
Matteroson.
Masterson. I'm saying it wrong. Master.
And John Ford.
That's what, and John Ford with an E at
Awesome.
the
There
end.
we go, folks. That's
Yeah,
the
so
book
we'll
you're gonna get.
pop that up there. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so that's great. So that's our prize winner when you're indexing this. That's our prize winner for May. Okay, cool. But keep going. So you're talking about the fact that sales is not a dirty word. It's sales is actually practice listening and creative problem solving.
Yes, and a little bit of empathy in there, and you got your delicious, sales meal that tastes great, and other people like to eat too. And if anyone that comes kind of into, and I know you know this, Pam, it's partly why we're having this conversation, and anyone that kind of comes in my atmosphere, so to speak, if I use that term, I guess. This is the one thing I hope people feel, is the whole thing I hope people take with them and they implement into their world, is if you feel any ounce of discomfort or moral tension in your sales process, do not ignore it.
Yeah.
Do not ignore it. Listen to that. It's telling you something. And when you listen to that and you lean into it and you resolve and work through what that is, on the outcome of that work, you land in something called conviction selling. It's the place where you don't have it's not just motivation and energy that you're giving people. It's deeper than that. It's substance, it's real, it's love, it's connection, it's impact. It's hard to articulate because it's the thing that's ultimately human connection, what everyone craves, needs, and wants. It's like if we don't eat, we don't survive.
Yep. That is amazing.
If you go back and you want to, depending on how deep you want to go here, if you want to go back and look at infants, babies, and you take two different case studies, those that have human connection and nurture versus those that don't, there's all types of mental and emotional disorder that grows and is created from those that do not have, people. I just want people to understand and feel. Just stop ignoring themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about you and how you feel. When you take the time to do this, you will come alive. The level of internal peace that you have will be higher than what you've experienced before. And then when you go to talk to a buyer, you'll be able to help them do the same thing. And when it's the right fit, you get to do a deal. And in my opinion, when two people come together and do a transaction, whether it's financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is, and then they leave, they part from that transaction, they're both in better places because of it. That's what I call a good transaction. And those are the ones that I focus on creating. And because that's my framework, you can put me in insurance, in e-com, or in software, and I will build good transactions, and then I'll accelerate those transactions, and they turn into 7- and 8-figure businesses.
Because of where you're coming from, which is why our conversation kind of started that way. So you said something really important here, and I hope everybody jumped on this, or whether you're live, whether you're watching on replay, I hope you jumped on this, because in the comments and on a banner here shortly, you're going to get the opportunity to have a conversation with Chris if you'd like to, one-on-one, because you're in this group. And these conversations are eye-opening. It's a deep dive, and it made all the difference in the world in my business and for me personally. But what you just said is your discomfort is telling you something. So if you're one of those people that has a sales process in your business or doesn't because you're avoiding it, hone in on what that discomfort is, because it's telling you something. And what I think I heard you say, Chris, it's telling you something that can be fixed, and not just make you better at sales, but take away this huge thing that's been weighing on your shoulders and keeping you from acting in your full capacity. and your full energy and your happiness and the lightness that's really you. So that really jumped out at me out of that whole thing that you just went through, is listen to that, because on the other side of it is all of this amazing stuff.
The most common thing I feel and hear in business owners, fellow entrepreneurs, is a half-baked sales process, sales idea. We don't even have scripts, sales conversations.
Yeah.
And life is short. Life is a gift. You don't like feeling like that.
Yeah.
Your prospects don't like you giving them that feeling, right? The reason why, Pam, I can have this conversation with you, and I can say people that come into Sean Malone's world, my business partner,
Yeah.
Sean Malone's world, my world, the reason why there is a massive increase in connection, in community, and sales is
Mm-hmm.
because when you come follow these principles, I would love to say I'm the genius. I'm not. I follow these time-tested principles, and I just remind people of them, and I challenge them to focus on them, and we do the same thing ourselves. It is impossible to not make more money, talk to more people, connect with more people, to accomplish something greater than yourself. It takes more than yourself. Your next big sale is not in your head. It's not an idea in your head. Your next big connection, the new employee that you need, the new partner that you're going to meet, is not inside the room that you're working in. They are out there in the world, and they're not going to just come knocking on your door. If you go out and you treat other people the way you want to be treated, you approach them in a way that you would like to be approached.
Yeah.
You turn into gasoline. The flame turns into, the whole forest lights on fire. Things accelerate and go fast. You go places you
That's so
never
true.
imagined you would go. You'd meet people you never imagined. Pam, we're in the process of building our second software company.
Yeah, tell me about this. This is amazing.
I still to this day I don't even know the different languages that you use for code. I couldn't write one line of code you know how I met the developer that we're currently partners with now? Outreach.
Who is it? Oh, Outreach. I thought maybe it was somebody I knew. Outreach.
Outreach. Yep. We ended up outreaching and connecting, and the relationship built. And this is the thing I want people to hear. I want people to we're all going to have fears. We're all going to have insecurities. We're all going to have doubts. And what I want is for people to not ignore them, address them head on, look them right in the eyes, and process that so that they can be understood. The ones that are valid, we can course correct, and the ones that aren't, we can kick them the hell out of the way, because they're stealing from you, they're stealing from your family, they're stealing from your relationships, and it's our fault.
And they're ultimately stealing from your clients and your employees and your suppliers and anybody else that relationship could help. And in hearing this now, I understand. I mean, I've always understood why we connected, but the thing I want to add to what you're saying is that you hear this talk from Chris and it's real, right? But what I also is underneath this talk is I took his process. I've joined his masterclass, and I have never, with one other exception, and that was a meditation class by Emily Fletcher, I have never, ever, ever gone through every single module, gone to every single class or office hours, because you did both. You had a class each week and office hours, and done the thing exactly as it was taught, but you know how to teach. Like, you knew how to teach, and it was really kind of meta, because not only were you teaching in a way that made sure we picked it up and did it, but you also were teaching us how to teach our teams how to do it. And it just kind of now becomes a way, what we learned and picked up in this, talk about win-win-win, there's a fourth win here, is how to train anybody on anything we learned in this process, because you know how to teach. And it was a way for somebody who never wanted to pick up a call and make a sale, who never wanted to quote a price, who never wanted to do anything, to say, oh yeah, I can do this because people need what I'm doing. It's worth this. If they're the right fit, if it's going to be good for them, that conversation's going to be so easy. And indeed, I had to do this. I had to face those fears and insecurities. And what we realized is they're just not the tiger I thought they were. They were a
The,
kitty cat.
the bark is way bigger than the bite. And here's the thing. Let's play with the opposite. Let's say, well, I don't want to talk to more people. I don't want to do calls. And there's multiple different ways of communicating, which every personality style is comfortable with.
Yeah.
But let's go to the opposite end and assume you never connect and you never talk to people. That's the equivalent of being born in a box and never going outside of it and never meeting another person.
Jeez. That
Imagine
is
that
so
life.
true.
And so I have yet to meet anyone that says, well, no, that life, I prefer that life. I have, and they
Yeah.
say, well, Chris, that's extreme. I agree that would be extreme, but that is the other, extreme
The
option. And
other
so
extreme, right?
people will land somewhere on the spectrum. And so in between there, and that's going to be really what it always comes down to is all of us we all have different personalities, and all of our personalities like to connect in their own way. And
Mm-hmm.
the good news is none of it's unique. There's billions of people over how many years, right? None of the way our personalities are and the way we connect. Now, how it happens and the timing, now that's all fresh and unique, which is fun. But I'm saying the patterns have been happened over and over again over time. So, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so what unlocks all the fears and insecurities is allowing people the space and time to identify with the patterns they enjoy the most.
Yeah. There
And
you go.
then it's already, what I would like to encourage everyone with is you are already naturally connecting with other human people. And the goal is really just, you're doing it naturally, so you don't know that that's what's happening. So we say, oh, this is how you do it. And you're like, oh, this is easy. And then you start, a lot of people, and Pam, you're one of them, you get a little courageous and you start doing it in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, it's the same thing. And I'm like, yes, it is. It
And
is
you
the
find
same
what
thing.
works for you, and you find different places that work,
Yes.
and you find ways to do
Yes.
things. And I love it. So, guys, let me tell you something. I learned a ton in my deep dive with Chris when we had it, and he is, God bless you for this, Chris, offering that anybody who wants to have one of these deep dives can actually just click on this link, and he will do that for us in the group. So I'm going to drop this also in the down in the comments once we're done here, just so that everybody has it. But thank you so much for doing that. Like, talking to you always fires me up. Like, I just want to go out and meet more people, do more things. I'm like thrilled because after this call, I have a campfire and we'll have, 7 more people to chat with. And just so y'all know, when Chris was in the campfire, all I can say is it ended up that he had a lamb's head thing, mask thing, hat on his head during the campfire.
We like to have fun. We like to have fun.
So we like to have fun. We like to have fun in the campfires, and Chris and Sean's stuff is really, really good. But the big thing I want people to not forget, and this goes for really anything, and thank you for dropping this gold. Wherever you find yourself uncomfortable in your business, in your life, stop and feel that thing, listen to that thing, and think through it. Because on the other side of that discomfort is a gold mine. Not necessarily a money gold mine, but some sort of gold mine for you, energetic, personal, emotional, financial. And that is such a huge statement. Thanks for dropping that bomb with us. That's a big deal.
Yes. And I know today, Pam, I appreciate you, with the deep dive link being there. Anyone here, like, I love Pam. And so anyone with Pam is cool by me. And the deep dive, I know we talked about ideas and concepts and strategies, principles, please feel them, use them, implement them. But if that deep dive is designed, it's just a free 30-minute thing. The goal and outcome of that is to go specifically into your sales process. If you want to see these principles applied to your sales process, and you just want to light it on fire, you want a little bit more freedom, peace, and excitement. If you're not in the place where you and or your team are like, I can't wait to connect with more people, and not just like a energetic, happy, overbearing sometimes type of energy, but in a real, genuine way where, no, the work I'm doing is creating impact. And you can get there. You can get there.
Right,
And
hear
there's
that.
Yes,
Clearly.
and like life's too short to not spend time in that space. And you're closer than you think. That's not a I got to make a bunch of changes and in 30, 90 days and go through this whole it's not like that. A lot of times it's one thought, it's removing a couple stories. Like for us, a big actually,
Oh,
I have a big announcement. Okay, this is part
tell
of the thing.
me.
Because Pam, like you're actually, it's an early announcement for you, but you'll get to hear about it. So a big part of any business that I touch, there's always a giving component to it. And so one of our big missions is to end world thirst. It's over a $600 million problem currently. Over the last 10 years, it was a $1.2 billion problem, and it's been cut in half in the last 10
I
years.
didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, so we've been spending some time in there. We partner with a company called Never Thirst. They provide clean drinking water for third world countries. And so we do 3 mastermind 90-day cycles per year. And Pam, you got to be a part of one of those. And at the end of those cycles, you haven't heard any of this yet, Pam, have you?
I don't think so. I may
Okay,
have gotten a hint, but keep going.
but so this is all you guys are feeling part of our process right now, and which is a huge tip. The sales process does not stop once the check is cut or the credit card is approved, right? We're months past that, with Pam right now, and you guys you're getting to feel this firsthand. Okay, so for every mastermind group, after the 90-day cycle, we come back and announce that that one particular group actually ends up sponsoring a well.
Mm-hmm.
And we just approved that the well for your mastermind group, you guys, it's already done, it's already approved. You guys are going to be having a well in India.
Oh, I did not know that.
Right. I know. So this is we come back and we say surprise, but hey, thank you for being world impacting entrepreneurs. Just so you know, here's a part of the impact that you got to drive just from being a part of our mastermind.
Wow.
And so we love, man, Pam, this life is so short and it's so much bigger than ourselves.
Yep.
And yes, we're dedicated to serving you and a specific market. But even that work that is greater, our work is greater than just that market.
Bingo. Win, 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 win.
Winning, and that's where the conviction and when you start to accomplish something greater than yourself, it takes more than yourself. And when you start focusing on things greater and bigger and outside of yourself, there's a different type of energy that fuels you.
There's a magnetism too. Things come together.
They do. And so if you felt tired, if you feel that type of reservation, hesitation, doubt, freaking listen to it. It's a gift. It's telling you something, and know that you can process it and approach it, and know that I'm constantly evaluating myself and oh no, I fell off the tracks again. What is it? Yep. That's why I got a 4-foot by 8-foot whiteboard over here. And so I have room and space to be like, no. It's like, an honesty board in a way.
I love that.
And I'm coming out of the gates hot here, Pam. Hopefully some of this is making sense.
Oh, it's making total sense. And I'm thrilled. And the thing you continue to reiterate why I connect so much with you is it's, win, 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 win. I get something, you get something. There's a well in India as a result of the work we did together. There's a team of mine that's been exposed to a whole new process that we never knew before. It's astounding what all comes together if you take the lid off and you believe and you dream, things just start happening and coming together. So guys, take Chris up on this offer. Whether it's sales or quite frankly, anything that's tripping you up, this guy's got some amazing insights, and I love that you spent some time with us. Chris will be around in the group. He'll answer questions that come up here. I'll tag him on them if you've got any. Watch this. If you're on the replay, let us know you're on the replay. I'm going to make sure that we give this some real publicity because there's a lot of gold in here, folks. And it's something we all trip over. Every entrepreneur I know, when we talk, one of the things is sales. Chris is the antidote to that and is willing to share that with you in a half an hour one-on-one. So I say take him up on it. And I hate to leave this conversation. I could go on all day.
It was, Pam, we always have fun. I love chatting with you.
Well, the secret truth is I'm going to have Chris get off now and show me get off of this call now and show me his software. So I'm kind of excited because I get that treat, and I'm sure I'll chat about it in the group once I see the amazingness that it is. So you guys have a great Tuesday. Thanks for joining us here today. And Chris, thank you for jumping on.
Yes, thank you for creating a stage and a microphone for kind of this mission of mine to create more human connection in the world, and just appreciation for life. The fact that you and I are breathing right now is a straight miracle, and yeah, let's enjoy the hell out of it, right?
I agree. That is perfect. Everybody, I hope those words stick with you for the rest of the day, the week, the month, the year, and your life. Everybody have a good one, and we will be back. See those of you coming to Campfire in about half an hour.